Hey, how y'all doing today? So today we are going to be just going over this shooting that happened last week. I don't know if y'all aware, but a off-duty deputy, Douglas County Sheriff, stopped on his way to work. He said, I seen some people arguing, and he on his way to work, and he stopped, intervened, and ended up shooting the unarmed man that was arguing with the girlfriend. So give me a second. I'm gonna get this video tuned up for y'all, and then I'll be right back. Hey. So, yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to be on here long. What I want to do is just go through, I like for them to give us their words and we just dissect what they say. Okay. And again, I don't know if y'all know, but last week, a deputy shot an unarmed black man after he interjected himself in somebody's disagreement. There was no weapons. I spoke to the woman the next day that they say is the victim. Spoke to her the very next day. She wasn't beat up, and she said that she specifically told him when he got out the car that they were having an argument. This is her baby daddy, and she don't need any help. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and bring this in real quick. All right.
The Douglas County deputy who shot an unarmed man will not face charges. And tonight, the man's girlfriend is furious. Thanks for joining us. I'm Julie Cornell.
I'm Daveyon Sherman. The Douglas County attorney says Deputy Kevin Clark was justified based on the evidence he's seen. Clark was on his way to work and not in uniform when he saw a disturbance near 108th and Maple early Saturday. The sheriff's office says Clark announced himself as an officer and told Daveyon Sherman to stop multiple times. That's heard on the 911 call when Clark called for backup.
So you got out the car and told him to stop. Stop what? Because if he wasn't beating her up, what did you wanted him to stop doing? Stop standing there? Stop what? You interjected yourself in the middle of a disagreement and hopped out the car with your firearm off duty. Nobody knows you're a cop. And you said stop. Now, the Douglas County Attorney's Office, since he made this decision already that Mr. Clark, Kevin Clark, was justified in the shooting, already with this evidence he got, I think that there should be some transparency and release the 911 call so we can hear as the public him saying that he's the police. Because even if he did, and you said people was arguing, maybe didn't nobody hear you say you were the police. And if you called the police on the way to work, he said that he turned around because he thought she was being kidnapped. This is the story. Let me finish playing this real quick.
KETV Newswatch 7's Sarah Feely has the decision from prosecutors and the response from Sherman's girlfriend. Sarah.
Community activists say this decision sends the wrong message to the community. They believe Deputy Clark should have tried to de-escalate the situation or just waited for backup. Prosecutors and the sheriff say he had a duty to protect and is in the right.
The decision that was made was not right at all, because again, he was shot for no reason.
That's Daveyon Sherman's girlfriend, shocked to hear the Douglas County attorney will not file charges against the off-duty Douglas County deputy who shot her boyfriend Saturday morning.
It's clear to me, at least preliminarily from the evidence we have, that the officer was justified.
The sheriff's office outlining what led up to the shooting, but admitting it's still investigating what escalated the situation to lead to gunfire. The Douglas County attorney offering this narrative.
He's pleading with this person to stop, and he doesn't, and kind of balls his fists up and says, "What are you going to do?" And he obviously is a threat, and he fired a shot.
Sherman.
Okay. He said he's obviously a threat and he balled his fists up. So you scared to get these hands? Why get out the car in the middle of an argument? But you scared to get some hands. You shouldn't have even interjected yourself if you was that scared. You yelling for him to stop. Stop what? If he's not beating her up, you see her face. This is maybe a day or two after. She's not beat up. They calling her the victim. I spoke with her. She said they wasn't fighting. They were arguing. So you decided to, on your way to work. So here we are, you on your way to work. You see two people arguing. You call it into the police. And instead of waiting for the police to come, you decide to turn around and come back. Okay, you say you have a duty as an officer. Okay, so if your duty as an officer, what happened to your training of de-escalation? You hop out with a firearm because the shooting happened within 10 seconds. What happened to calm down? I'm the police. What's going on? Anything. De-escalation. But that's never practiced with us. It's never a de-escalation. It's an escalation. Shoot, get right to the shooting. And if he walked out towards you with his hands out, you saying fist ball, Don Klein. She's saying he had his hands out, open. Like, what you gonna do? Shoot me? And he just shot him. What were you scared of? A black man walking towards you? Why did you get out the car to interfere in any kind of conflict if you was that scared? And why, if you determine this, Don Klein, why haven't you released the evidence so we can see? Right, he said put him in handcuffs. Anything other than shooting him if he's unarmed. You're right, Scott. He could have did that. Mace. Where is the de-escalation? But if you knew the police, real police was on their way with a marked car. So, you know, when we see the police pull up, immediately when they see a police car, most people, then their behavior changed because we know that's the police. That's a marked car, right? So why not just park across the street? If you're so worried, you talking about you thought she was getting kidnapped, could have parked across the street and waited for the police to show up and then let them handle it and went on your way to work. But you did that Kyle Rittenhour stuff. You jumped in the middle of something that had nothing to do with you. Then you get scared and you shoot somebody. So the message that we're sending to Omaha is the new law is if a Douglas County sheriff happens to see you and your woman or anybody arguing, they can get out their car and shoot you and it's justified. Robert said he clearly did what he wanted to do. Yes, sir. They have no transparency on this rules of engagement. I've been asking for a while. Scott said he didn't need to pull out his gun. That is correct. So what are we doing here? And, you know, I talked to Robert about this. He in the chat. It's like anytime this kind of stuff happens in Omaha, it's like the silence of the city, right? Because normally, if it was something out of town or the girl Carly, she went missing, everybody was trying to solve it, you know. But when we have stuff happen right here in our own town, I call it the silence of the city. It's nothing. I mean, we have an NAACP, but I don't know what that means anymore. Because if an unarmed black man is shot by an off-duty deputy and already they're saying no charges, at that time, the NAACP, I thought, was supposed to be like the interjection of the injustice. They're supposed to stand up and say something. Jobina said he gone. So again, if not held accountable, he needs to be arrested. That's right. That's right. He needs to be held accountable. Yeah. He shot him unarmed. And clearly looking at this woman right here, they're calling her the victim, but she's not the victim. She's actually advocating for him to be released, but they're holding him on old charges. So if he was beating her up, why you haven't charged him with assault? Why nobody has come to talk to her as the victim? Right? Yeah, because I've been waiting on you to go live about this topic. Yeah, But if there's a victim, where's the victim statement? Where's the victim pressing the charges or the victim coming forward that you had to come save? Not a peep, but who's better, Jordan or LeBron? Yeah, that's the silence of the city that I be talking about, Rob. But if she was the victim, the one that's getting beat up that you had to save, and she told you, I don't need no help, this is my baby father, why would you still pull out a gun and shoot this man? Because witnesses saying he got out the car with the gun. So your intent was to shoot somebody. We're not even going to give you the excuse of being scared. You wanted to shoot somebody. What was the other intent? You didn't get out with your badge. You didn't get out with mace. You got out the car with a firearm. Not even a photo to corroborate the story. Right. She said, people be real quiet in these situations until it's them or their family. That's right. And I don't know this woman from a can of paint. Mr. Sherman got my first last name. You know, his last name is my first name. I don't know that brother. But guess what? Wrong is wrong. You can't just get in the middle of somebody's argument and shoot somebody. And because you're the police, then you can just get away with it. And you shot an unarmed man that wasn't even assaulting him. He made the choice when he hit the U-turn. Absolutely correct. Jonathan Lathan, so he should at least get brandishing charges according to the statements. Yeah, let's get back to this real quick. Sorry.
Sherman's girlfriend, going only by her last name Hamadi, says he was not threatening the deputy.
Community activists say this decision sends the wrong message to the community. They believe Deputy Clark should have tried to de-escalate the situation or just waited for backup. Prosecutors and the sheriff say he had a duty to protect and is in the right.
The decision that was made was not right at all, because again, he was shot.
Let me tell y'all something about this before I finish playing it. So we're standing there. All of us are standing there. I'm further off to the other side over here on the right. Her saying that she thought they could have de-escalated away from the police is actually what I said. But Channel 7 did not show what we actually said about the police. Anytime it's a statement that we're making about the police, most of the time the news won't show it because they're pro-police, right? So that's why I had to do this live, because we can't even say what we want to say on the news, because me and Jobina spoke at the same time during this interview, and they didn't show neither one of us or nothing we said. I just wanted to let y'all know that.
Shot for no reason.
That's Daveyon Sherman's girlfriend, shocked to hear the Douglas County attorney will not file charges against the off-duty Douglas County deputy who shot her boyfriend Saturday morning.
It's clear to me, at least preliminarily from the evidence we have, that the officer was justified.
The sheriff's office outlining what led up to the shooting, but admitting it's still investigating what escalated the situation to lead to.
Did you hear that? He said, we're still investigating. They said they're still investigating. You're investigating, but you've already made a decision not to charge. This is Mr. Don Klein, Mr. Charge all the kids in North Omaha as adults. That's this same guy, right? So you're still investigating, but you've already made a decision. How? If the investigation is ongoing, how did you make the decision so fast? Probably it's like you did when, what's his name got shot downtown. You make the decision real quick. Anytime it's when James Sturlock got shot, you make the decision real fast on not to charge somebody. And we know in that case, come to find out, that dude was waiting to shoot somebody. They tried to ambush people into his building and was waiting to shoot somebody. And it wasn't until we had an outside prosecutor, right, to find out that evidence. So again, here we are, Omaha, docile and quiet about it. And this attorney is already saying not guilty, even though we're still investigating.
To gunfire. The Douglas County attorney offering this narrative.
He's pleading with this person to stop, and he doesn't, and kind of balls his fists up and says, what are you going to do? And he obviously is a threat, and he fired a shot.
Sherman.
He said he's obviously a threat. To who? Him? You scared? How is it obvious that he's a threat? because you interjected yourself. He was not a threat to you because he don't know you. You pulled over and put yourself in the situation. But now he's the threat. But you put yourself in it. Natalie said, Jobina Lloyd, you right. My cousin Sheila said they will keep the narrative. They are all paid to keep. It's fake news. You know what, cousin? What's so bad is the moment that they said that, they started speaking on this man's record. I knew what was going on because that's their normal tactic. They always got to bring up some kind of, if you got a record, they want to hurry up and bring that up. Why? Because they want to justify the person getting shot. But guess what? You didn't know his record before you turned around and got out that car. You didn't know what he had. You didn't even know who it was. So that's bullshit. Why even bring it up? Tall Twin said, same thing about the charges with James Scurlock. Absolutely. Mr. Chapman said, we are elected. Where are the elected officials from the local Black community? Why are they not advocating for the constituents from the community they purport to represent, supposed to represent? Good question, Mr. Chapman. That's a very good question. Scott said, and we get to wait months to go to trial and they hold us in jail. Absolutely. We're guilty before we are proven, innocent.
Sherman's girlfriend, going only by her last name Hamadi, says he was not threatening the deputy.
I told the deputy myself, that I do not need help. I'm good. This is my child's father. He's just trying to take me home to put the gun down. The gun was not lowered.
The county attorney says Sherman and Hamadi were fighting in the middle of the intersection, which can be heard on a Facebook Live video, now considered evidence. People in the car repeatedly say, get in the car. You hear Deputy Kevin Clark say he's a police officer and call for backup. Klein says Hamadi and Sherman have a history of domestic violence, about 6 to 9 other reports between them. Hamadi says the deputy didn't know their history.
What he did is not right. And if he can do it, the next officer is going to think they can do it. And the next person is going to think they can do it.
Omaha Senator Terrell McKinney says he doesn't feel Klein's decision should be set in stone.
There's a lot of things that haven't been answered, and it doesn't feel as though this has been a full investigation at all.
Sheriff Aaron Hansen says they cannot release more information until the investigation is complete. He says they're still working to interview witnesses and clarify that, quote, pivotal point that led to Deputy Clark shooting Sherman.
I mean, how can you say this is an ongoing investigation? You can't release no more information, but you've already determined that he's innocent. Deadly force can only be used to meet deadly force. And ass whooping isn't deadly force. We teach that in our class. Thank you, Brother Jonathan. Laura Fisher, pull it over and put yourself in the situation. Exactly. That's what he did. Don is a threat to the people of Omaha. Don Klein is bullshit. Absolutely. And Christine said absolutely. So I'm only talking about this because this is another example, right, of how we are policed in our community and how they handle us. And then how we sit back and we take it. Nobody says nothing. And like Brother Chapman said, where are the elected officials from the local Black community? Right here in our community. Where are they? We have been talking with Juanita, but we haven't heard a peep from the NAACP. I forgot even what that means anymore. NAACP. What does that mean? Somebody drop it in the chat what it means for me. It's getting out of hand. It is, Derek. It is. Because you just shoot an unarmed man and he's asking you with his hands open, what are you going to do? Shoot me? And you shoot him. And you've already determined there's no charges. I'm in DJs. I can hear, so I'll check later with you, boss man. Yes, sir. So now here we are, Omaha, in another decision of what are we going to do? Like Senator Terrell said, we're going to need some outside investigation. But we cannot allow these types of things to happen. Same with the young lady and her daughter. When the gang unit came kicking at the door, they kicked at her door, wasn't the right house, and then lied about being there, saying that the car that was stolen was there. But again, it's the way that the police handle our community. Why do they have to handle us this way? But then there's a narrative that the police in Omaha citizens has this great relationship, this bond, and we're working together to make our community great. That's what's happening, but this don't reflect that. Okay. So unless we have an outside auditor, the decision, even though in their own words they say the investigation is still ongoing, it's already been decided that he was justified for shooting an unarmed man.
He adds once the criminal investigation is finished, he will launch an internal investigation to determine if Clark violated any policies.
That situation could have likely went a multitude of different directions if people had made different decisions in real time.
Yeah, the people that should have made the different decision was him in real time. He's the trained professional, basically, is what y'all basing it on. Like, since he's the professional, he had to be in the right? He's the trained professional. He pulled over. He interjected himself into an argument. And if you're the trained professional, your job is to de-escalate. And Jobina said, where's the grand jury? Absolutely. How do you say you're going to continue to investigate, but the prosecuting attorney already stated he's not charging him at all? He was in the right.
But this is the situation that we were handed.
The county attorney says Sherman could face domestic violence charges. Deputy Clark remains on administrative leave.
Brother, there's no body camera, Mr. Mosley, because he was off duty. He wasn't in a uniform or in a marked car. And somebody else mentioned about administrative leave. So now you shoot an unarmed man, you're already found not guilty, and then you get to go home and take a paid vacation. But they've already decided you're not guilty. So what are you on vacation for? Yeah, he was off. Yeah, brother. This is what's going on right up under our noses with the police and the way they treat our community. And this could have been any one of us. It could have been one of us disagreeing with one of our teams. It could have been any one of us. So basically in Omaha, and that's why I posted that. I know people like, what? This new law? Yeah, it might as well be a new law, because you've already stated that this man arguing with his woman is allowed to be shot by the police, even though he's unarmed, and they're both telling you, we good, we don't need no help. Actually, it was 3 other people, she said, that pulled over and asked, hey, is y'all good? And she said, yeah, we good. And they pulled off. Not the hero. He pulls up and shoots somebody. And then she said he didn't even call the police. She had to call the police and ambulance. He just stood there with his gun out, still pointing at him. She said, how is it okay for him to use a police firearm if he was off? Shouldn't that be illegal within itself? Yeah, and so we trying to get that answer. We haven't got that answer. We haven't got the transparency. Was it a registered police issued firearm, or was it your personal firearm? And since when do we hop out of the car with a firearm? Your intent was to shoot. Somebody in the chat, tell me, what was the other reason? Why would you hop out of your car with a gun if you're not planning on shooting? If you coming to save the day and de-escalate an argument, why would you hop out with your gun? Are you hopping out with your gun to de-escalate an argument? But like he said, a gun should only be used when deadly force is used only to meet deadly force. So if she's not beat up and he didn't have a gun, where was your need to use deadly force? I don't understand that. So here we are again, dealing with this bullshit police stuff. And there's no transparency, and Don Klein immediately jumping on the side of the police to say there's no charges. I don't know how much more of this bull that I can take and sit and watch the silence of the city happen every single time we have something right here in our own town. And it did make national news. It's on ABC News. So they're talking about it nationally, but locally, nobody's talking about it. None of the leaders, none of the NAACP. And I say leaders lightly because I don't like using the term. So that's what I came on here for today. I went live today just for this reason. If y'all got any other questions, because see, the lady who was there, she has been at the hospital every day because they have not allowed her to see Mr. Sherman. He has not been seen or been able to talk to him. And they claim they might file charges, but haven't took a victim statement from her yet. So we haven't been able to see him or talk to him. I think only his mother, but she has not, and he's in surgery. So, you know, once he get out of surgery and we can talk to him or her, if she's wanting to talk again, then we will. But like I said, the news, when they did this interview, Sarah did the interview, we said more than that. She said more than that, but it wasn't showed. Only thing was mainly showed was what the sheriff said. So I just wanted to bring some attention to this for y'all, okay? Later on today, I'm going to be dropping a video from the community about Mr. Blake. So y'all stay tuned for that. And if we reach 100 days and Mr. Blake still hasn't been found, I'm going to drop a bombshell on y'all because I'm tired of playing games. Okay? Peace and hair grease, y'all. I love y'all. If y'all got any other questions, you can inbox me. And like I said, if I can get Miss Hamadi to come on and give her side, she can. But at this time, I'm respecting her space. She's dealing with something very traumatic. And I cannot even imagine just having a disagreement with my wife and some random person just pulls up and shoot me, even though I'm unarmed and I said I don't need no help. Y'all tell me how that makes sense, okay? All right, y'all.